everyone, welcome to ABC Interactive English. I'm Mike.
I'm Rainbow.
And we're on part 2 of traditions for the first day of school. We've already learned that in Japan, kids on their first day of grade 1, they get a backpack that they have to take care of and keep in good condition. Don't lose it, don't forget your books. Now you're a little student, you need to show that you can take care of your backpack. That's kind of a cool tradition.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I have a question. So you're from Canada.
I am.
Are there any special things that people do on the first day of school? Things your parents say to you or things you're given, your responsibilities, anything like that?
I think it kind of depends on the school, but they don't have a lot of real countrywide national traditions like maybe this one in Japan. The one thing I do remember, and it is kind of a tradition, is the back to school shopping that they would always have us do. That's right. As a student, you'd be, maybe watching TV or looking at the newspaper or something, and you'd see all these ads at the end of August saying back to school sale, and they'd be selling running shoes and clothes and books and pens and all the school stuff you need. And as a kid, you'd be like, oh no, look, they're already telling us the summer is over. And so your mom would drag you to the store, and you'd want to buy the cool book with Batman on the front, and she'd be like, no, let's just get the boring green one.
That's like $1.
That kind of thing. So I do remember the shopping trips
cute.
Before school. And it would be exciting because you'd get to school, you'd be nervous, excited, a little sad because summer's over, but
you can show people your new things.
Yeah, you'd have a bag full of new pencils and erasers that smell like things, that kind of thing. So I guess the shopping and the preparing and getting new stuff.
It's exciting, not nervous.
Yeah,
You're
that's
excited.
Probably one of the most common North American traditions that we have.
Cool.
Let's keep on our tour around the world, keep going with it, and we're going to go to Russia and Germany today to find out who gets a cone full of pens. It's true, it's coming up. On the first day of school, German first graders get big cones. They have lots of candy and school things. They're a sign of the children's new role in the world. All right, so let's keep going and see what kids in other countries do on their first day of school. I mentioned a big cone. I think we're going to get to that first. It says on the first day of school, German first graders get big cones. That's right. So, of course, here we are in the country of Germany. German is the adjective, so we talk about German kids, German people, German food, the German language in the country of Germany, and these kids get cones. Not an ice cream cone, it's probably made of paper and it's filled with other stuff, although there is some sweet stuff in there. What is in this school cone? They have lots of candy and school things. So yeah, I think I read like erasers, pens, pencils, a ruler, some candy,
so cute.
Some cute little gifts. And I just imagine all these kids walking around with their cones of stuff going into school as they wave and cry to their parents and stuff like that. But yeah, they get a nice gift in the form of a cone.
A cone is a special shape. Normally when we think of it, we would think of an ice cream cone. So you have a triangle with a circle on the bottom. That's basically a cone like that. And of course you can put it on your head as a birthday party hat.
True.
Or there are cones on the street for traffic, those orange ones. Right. So for this case, it's probably like some kind of paper cone. Maybe there's some school design, or maybe it's like a party hat, honestly. And then you can carry it around. And I like that shape. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's easy. If you get a piece of paper, roll it up like a ball, but then kind of squeeze it at one end. There you get your cone. You tape it, and you put stuff inside. Now, the cone, of course, is to give kids a little gift, something special on their first day. But there's another meaning to this idea, too, right? This gift.
So the cones, they're a sign of the children's new role in the world. So we can see something very similar between Japan and Germany. It's when you're starting a new stage in your life, you have something that's a bit important that we give to you as a sign that this is now something new. You're now a bit older, you now have responsibilities, you have a new role. So this is a sign for you.
Okay, now a sign, when we see this, we often think of like a street sign or the sign over a store that says 7-Eleven, or a sign that says open or something like that. But here, we're not actually talking about a physical sign you look at and understand with your eyes. Here, it's more of a symbol. It's something that kind of shows people around you, people in society, what your position is or what's going on with you. One of the things that we can think of in a similar way, so if you see the kids in Germany with the cones, that's a sign that it's their first day of school. If you see someone with a gold circle, a gold ring around one of their fingers, is it the left hand or the right hand? It's the left hand. That's a sign that that person is married, right? So it's not something that we're sort of getting a lot of information from and learning things from, but it shows us something. It tells us something important about that person. When people wear a uniform for their job, if someone's wearing blue with a hat and they have a belt with stuff on it, that might be a sign that that person is a police officer or something. So it's something you can see and get information from, either like a traffic sign or a sign on a store, or just something that you can look at a person, notice, and then you know something about that person.
That's right. And the next word we have here is child. So a child is someone who's very small. We would say like, I would say maybe like 2.5, 3 years old, all the way to 6, 7, maybe 8, you would still consider them kind of a child. If they're a bit taller or older, you usually, you would still call them children, actually. Technically, children are children up until like 18, the legal age where they're not children. So the plural version is children, CHILDREN, but if it's one, it's just a child. And these are the little people of the world who are young. And after you're a child, you become an adult. So actually, if you're a child, you might go to a teenager. So teenagers are like 12. They're still some kind of child, but they're special kind because they're almost an adult. 12 to 16, 17, and then you become an adult after 18. So we have these different titles for people of different ages. And children are the little ones that we're talking about in first grade right now.
All right, and also the role that these children are playing now. Now these children have their cones. In Japan, they have their backpacks. It's showing that they're kind of in a different position, a different place in their society. When we talk about a role, we're talking about a position or a place in a group of people, right? If you have a team of people at a company or even a sports team, people often have different jobs. They will work together, but in different ways. For example, if you go to a restaurant, the chef's role is to cook the food. The waiter or waitress's role is to bring the food to the table. And you might have someone else whose role is to answer the phone and welcome people. In a soccer team, you have the goalie who stops the goals and the people out in front who kick the ball around and try to score the goals. These are different positions, jobs, or roles in their group or company or team or whatever. So these kids now, they've gone from being children, little kids being taken care of at home by mom and dad. Now they are students. So this is a new role for them. And so they get a cone. I like that idea. Let's take a break and then we'll be back. And next we will be visiting Russia. In Russia, first graders put on nice clothes and go to school with their families. Outside the school, everyone listens to interesting talks. After that, the first graders give flowers to their teachers. Later, a 12th grader puts a first grader on his shoulders. Then the first grader rings a bell to start school. Now those are some fun traditions. All right, so we have visited Japan, and the kids get a backpack.
In Germany.
They get a cone.
Oh, cute.
And next we're going to Russia. Now, what do kids in Russia do to celebrate the first day of school?
In Russia, first graders put on nice clothes and go to school with their families.
Oh, that's nice.
Everybody comes together.
Yeah.
Outside the school, everyone listens to interesting talks. I wonder what kind of talks they listen to.
Interesting talks.
Interesting talks. A talk is usually a conversation given by one person to a group of people. We call this a talk. This is kind of formal. This is probably some kind of introduction, giving instructions, telling everybody how the first day works. Maybe the talk is given by the principal, or during the talk, all the main teachers are introduced so that everybody in the family, including the child, knows what's happening. And this is kind of like a formal conversation that's being given to a group of people or a few people about something important.
Okay, we also might call it a speech.
Yeah.
Right? S-P-E-E-C-H. So they will get it. They will have to stand there, listen to a speech, hopefully an interesting speech or talk. But that's not all. Then we read after that, after the talk, the first graders give flowers to their teachers.
Aww.
Oh, that's a nice thing. So kids there are taught, kind of like kids here, taught to kind of honor the teachers and do things like that. I don't think I ever gave flowers to a teacher in Canada. But later, a 12th grader puts a first grader on his shoulders.
Aww.
Okay.
That's so cute.
That's kind of an interesting tradition. I'd like to see how that works. But basically, this is kind of like the oldest students welcoming the youngest students into the school. And every year,
they
of
sound
course,
so close.
Yeah, and every year, of course, it'll change. So I guess that young kid in, 11 or 12 years, that little kid might be the big kid putting a new little kid on their shoulders. And I wonder what they do, walk around the school, or people sing a song or something like that. I don't know. But that's an interesting tradition, definitely.
And it's probably super memorable for the first grader.
Oh, definitely.
Very, very memorable.
Who is this strange person putting me on their Mom, Dad, what's going on? I want to go to school.
So these kids are put on the 12th graders' shoulders. These are your shoulders, the part that connects. This is your head, this is your neck, these are your shoulders. And you can put people on them because shoulders can carry quite a lot of weight. You can also put a backpack on your shoulders, and you can also wear some kind of, like, you have shoulder pads, like clothes with big shoulders. So
or
these
a
are
cape,
places
like a superhero.
worn on your shoulders, that's right. So we usually talk about shoulders being kind of a symbol of responsibility, like carrying something on your shoulders. It's like, oh, I will handle my responsibility or my job. So in this case, a little kid is being put on the 12th grader's shoulders and being really tall. They have a new role as a first grader. Maybe that's their new responsibility.
Interesting. Of course, here, a 12th grader, this would be like a senior high school.
Yeah, like
senior.
17, 18-year-olds.
Yeah, we would call that a senior, or someone in their last year of senior high school. As we read on, there might actually be a really good reason why this older kid, the 12th grader, has the first grader on their shoulders.
Ooh, the article says then the first grader rings a bell to start school. Ding!
Okay, so maybe it's a bell up high. Maybe there's a little rope and the little kid couldn't reach it. So the older kid puts them on their shoulders. That's kind of cute.
Now those are some fun traditions, aren't they?
A lot more fun than going shopping with your mom for pens.
Wait, maybe you get a Batman notebook.
Yeah, well, I gotta be okay. But I'd sure like to ring a bell before I go to school. That would be fun too. When you ring something, you make it sound. It's probably a bell of some kind. It could be a doorbell. It could be a bell like that kind of thing, ding-a-ling-a-ling, or something.
Could be a huge bell in a tower.
Could be a huge bell in a church or something where you pull a long rope and that kind of thing. Of course, Big Ben, those bells ring in the middle of London every hour. And a lot of schools will ring bells, right? To tell students it's time to go to school.
The next class.
Class is over, school's over, things like that. And of course, sometimes it might be powered by just a button. You press a button and the bell rings. But the old kind, you do. At my school in England, we used to ring a bell before dinner, and it was a bell from an old ship. It was called the Hercules bell, and we would have to stand by and go ding, 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 really, really fast, and all the students would come for lunch or for dinner. So bells are very useful, and when you are actually making the bell make noise, You are ringing the bell. And the good thing is that sound is the ring of a bell.
Which is a noun.
Hear the ring of the bell. When someone rings the bell, that is giving you a message. Ding, ding, ding. Did you hear that bell? Did you hear it ringing? That means our article's over.
And it's time to go.
Ding, 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 ding. I can't really do it and look like it's not coming from me. Anyways, thanks for joining us, guys. We hope you have a good first day or first week or first month, or the rest of your school career goes really, really well. But whatever you do, come back and spend some more time with us in the future. We'll have some great articles for you. Until then, be well and good luck for the new school year.
Bye-bye.
And bye-bye. On the first day of school, German first graders get big cones. They have lots of candy and school things. They're a sign of the children's new role in the world. In Russia, first graders put on nice clothes and go to school with their families. Outside the school, everyone listens to interesting talks. After that, the first graders give flowers to their teachers. Later, a 12th grader puts a first grader on his shoulders. Then the first grader rings a bell to start school. Now those are some fun traditions.
Hi, I'm Tina. 我们来看一下这一课的重点单字。第一个 sign 名词象征。Is crying a sign of weakness? 哭是一种软弱的象征吗 ？Weakness 在这里是名词，软弱。下一个单字 child 名词孩童，它的复数是 children。The movie is not suitable for children under 12. 那部电影不适合12岁以下的孩子观看。Suitable 在这里是形容词，适合的。下一个单字 talk 名词演讲、演说。Harry gave a talk on the history of America yesterday. Harry 昨天发表一席关于美国历史的演讲。最后一个单字 shoulder 名词肩膀。Lisa likes to rest her head on her boyfriend's shoulder. Lisa 喜欢把头靠在她男友的肩膀上。Rest 在这里是动词，靠、放。接着我们来看一下这一课的重点文法。第一个 outside the school 在学校外面。Outside 在这里是一个介系词，表示在什么的外面。我们来看看下面这个例句。Can we meet outside the movie theater at 7 o'clock? 我们可以7点钟在电影院外碰面吗？下一个文法 A gives something to B。A 给 B 某个东西，也可以说 A gives B something。Give 的三态是 give, gave, given。我们来看看下面这个例句。My dad gave $100 to me. 那么你也可以说成 My dad gave me $100. 我爸爸给我100美元。最后一个文法 ring a bell 敲钟按铃。ring 是一个动词，敲响的意思。例如敲响钟声，或者是按门铃、电铃等。它的三态是 ring, ran, run。那么 bell 在这里指的是钟、铃。Doorbell 就是门铃咯。我们来看看下面这个情境。
Did you hear something?
Nope.
I think someone is ringing our doorbell.
Nope, I don't think so. I think you're hearing things.
Want to go get it?
How about you go get it?
以上就是这一课的重点单字跟文法，学起来哦。我们下一课再见，拜拜。
The Taipei Botanical Garden is in the center of Taipei City. The plants here are planted for studying. The Botanical Garden has over 1,300 different kinds of plants. Each plant has a sign, and some of them have QR codes. Visitors can scan the code to get information about the plants. There is also a beautiful lotus pond in the Botanical Garden. Besides seeing the plants, there are some special places to visit in the garden. The Qin Chai Xing Tai was a guest house during the Qing dynasty. The herbarium has collected many plant samples. The Taipei Botanical Garden is a great natural classroom.
See you next time!